What's going on, y'all? This is Brandon. Today I'm going to talk to you about why men cheat on their wives. And specifically, it's going to apply to very high performing, high achieving men. So I'm going to start doing more videos like this where I just get on here, shoot the shit, and I dig into topics that I've found that my personal one-on-one coaching clients struggle with. And so hopefully there's some insights that I'm able to coach them through that I can now bring to my YouTube channel here that can support you as well. Or my own coaching community if you're watching this through that channel, which I'll post these as well. So here it is. I have a lot of high performing clients, professional athletes, 7, 8 figure entrepreneur business owners that have cheated on their wives. And then of course I get the phone call, I get the back call where they're like, hey, my marriage is falling apart, my wife's about to leave me and I need your help. And I'm like, great. I wish you would have called me, before you did this, but here we are. And so whenever I get these type of clients, I'm always really curious to find out what were the triggers leading up to the man cheating that created this situation he's in. Because, especially if you have kids, this can be a complete shit show, right? You have to split your household if you are gonna break up. You have to split your assets, and if you are worth a lot of money, that can be very painful. So we wanna avoid that at all costs. So if you're someone who's achieved a lot, maybe you're going through some issues in your marriage right now, maybe you've thought about cheating on your wife, maybe you already have. Regardless, I need you to listen to me here so we can kind of identify what are the deeper rooted triggers. We can remove those so, either this doesn't happen again or it never happens at all. So here it is. Us as men, especially high achieving men, men who are accomplished professionally, they're successful, they've made good money, and or they're also good looking. These types of men, we call them high value men. And I know the red pill community has kind of made that word high value men a weird thing, but let's just say it for what it is, right? Women are more attracted to men with a lot of success because they get significance from it. They're attracted to men who are very financially wealthy because they get safety from it. And the last one's pretty common sense, right? They're attracted to men who they find handsome, who they're attracted to. So when men have any of these things going from these attributes, they have options. Most men don't. But if you are one of those men, you have options and you could go cheat on your wife. And I want to discuss why. It's because us as men, ultimately, we've been programmed by this society. There's belief systems that run deep, deep, deep for generations that we get our sense of self-worth from how many women we have sex with. And also, of course, the quality of women we have sex with. And I think we're all probably in like a group chat, or you've been in one before, where like your boy sent you a naked photo of a woman. He's like, hey, check this out, look what just happened. Guys love to do that, right? So what are we doing here? We're trying to get a sense of wholeness or I'm enoughness from showing to the world that we can do the thing that we've been programmed to believe is the most important, which is conquer women. Now, this is a deep-rooted piece of programming. I'm not even going to be talking about like removing that programming. I don't think it's the best way to get your sense of self-esteem, but there are things that we can do to not even deal with that deeper layer of programming of I'm enough when I have sex with lots or quality women. What we can do is actually just deal with these things that make us get to this point where we're like, you know what, I'm gonna go get my self-esteem, my sense of self-worth, I'm gonna go find this escape by going outside of my relationship. And so here are a few of those things that I've seen time and time again. Now, I'm not blaming the women for this, but these are the conditions that create the scenario where the guy goes and cheats. The first one is when a woman is constantly mommying the husband or the boyfriend. This, especially when you have kids, it's like, oh, they just treat the man like he's one of the kids. And so she's commanding him, she's demanding him, she's reprimanding him for his actions. Hey, why'd you leave your clothes out here like that? Put your stuff away. Hey, why haven't you done the thing I asked you to do, right? This dynamic creates a lack of polarity because, of course, like that dynamic of mother, little boy is not sexual, it's not sexy, it's something that turns men off. It turns women off as well. But we're talking about men here, and it really turns us off. We don't want to feel like, we're married or in an intimate relationship with our mother. And so we have to avoid that at all costs as men. Do not allow that to happen. I'll get deeper into how we can avoid that as I go through a few of these other ones. So another one I've seen is that men who just lack purpose. So it could be a guy who makes lots of money, but he's not passionate about what he does. He feels no sense of deeper purpose. And so he's going through the motions every single day of living a life that's not deeply purposeful and fulfilling. And because of that, he goes and tries to grab something outside of his daily life, some excitement, some escapism, through other women to kind of fill that hole that's not being met. So this is a huge one. A lot of guys who are making good money don't necessarily want to hear this, but this is a part of the spiritual journey. Maybe you don't do this all at once. You don't quit your job and go find your purpose in life, but you have to start yourself down the path of getting deeper meaning. It could be the same job you're in right now where you get paid really well, but maybe you approach it differently, or maybe you move around the organization to do something that feels more inspiring. You have to be purposeful, otherwise you're gonna look for some level of escapism. It could be gambling, it could be drugs, and in this circumstance we're talking about cheating, right? So the other one I see is the sex life is just non-existent, or the woman is holding sex over the guy's head, like you have to do this to get sex, right? Like it's a transaction of like, well, you haven't behaved well, or I'm not happy with you, so now you don't get sex. So if it ever feels like in a relationship you have to earn sex, you know something is going downhill. And guys were like, all right, I have to earn sex? No, I'll just go take another woman out from a dating app and have sex with her, and then bada bing, bada boom. So we don't want it to get there. So as a guy especially, if you're in a relationship where that's the dynamic, you need to change that. You need to flip it on your head as fast as possible. And like I said, I'm gonna go deeper into how you can do that as we go on, but that's just a really telltale sign. If you're not having sex with your wife or girlfriend, if there's no just attraction there in a way that feels like you can have her whenever you want her, that's gonna be an issue. The next one is, this is a big one these days, your woman is acting like a man. So women, naturally, they're the most attractive when they're surrendered into their feminine. But if a woman is forced to act like a man in the relationship, maybe she has a high-powered corporate job and she comes home and she's still in that boss mode energy, like that's disgusting. No men are attracted to that, and it kills the polarity in a relationship. And oftentimes what it does is it puts the man in his feminine when he gets home. Even if he's successful in his career and he's the alpha, he's the masculine, if he goes home and he's put in that position of feeling like, he just surrenders his control to his wife, this is going to make him feel like, you know what, I don't feel like a real man in my relationship, and I might just go outside the relationship to go cheat on her to get that sense of feeling like a man, which is in many ways very understandable. And so last one is the whole insecurity in men thing. So like I said, we all been around guys who constantly have to show you the girls that they're having sex with. Like if a guy gets all of his sense of self-worth and self-esteem from having sex with other women, even when he gets into a relationship, he's gonna still try to fill that same void in the same way, unless he has found a way to heal that part of himself that believes that the only way he's more than enough is if he's having sex with more and new women. And so if you're that guy right now and you feel like, I need my boys to approve of me getting with other girls, like that's the work that needs to be done, right? Because if you're gonna be in a relationship, obviously, depending on your dynamic that you work out with your girlfriend or your wife, like that's you having sex with as many women as possible, as often as possible, is not something that's gonna be great for the relationship. Okay. So like I said, I'm not playing the blame game here. I don't want any guy to feel like he's being attacked when I share these things. I don't want any woman to feel like if somehow a woman finds this video that she is in the wrong for creating this dynamic. It takes two to tango. And the biggest things that I think, we'll talk to the men specifically here, these high performing men who are high value, what you need to be doing is creating a very strong polarity of masculine and feminine in your household. And that requires you to lead. You have to be a leader. You have to have the emotional leadership, so you're not getting swayed back and forth, based upon like something that your wife says or your kids do that trigger you. You need to be an emotional leader, which means that you have the resilience to stay strong and grounded in the eye of the storm. Now this isn't easy, but it can be trained, right? This whole channel is full of hundreds of meditations and mindset videos, and I have programs and do coaching that show you how to build that mental and emotional resilience so you can be a leader emotionally. So that's one of the first things you need to do to be grounded in your masculine power. Now the next thing I want you to really think about is creating more sacred space for intimacy. right? So a lot of times, you've been together with the same person for a long time. It's, you can go through the motions. Don't do it. Create date nights, create opportunities to be alone with your partner where you feel like there's some level of novelty to it. Maybe you get to go a little weekend trip. Maybe it's just renting a hotel for a night. You have to do something to create a little bit of novelty to spark things up a little bit. You can try Tantra, you can explore all different things, whatever your fantasies are, explore that. Find out the deepest fantasy that your wife has and get to a place where you can share those with her as well. Now, another thing I recommend is doing the work on yourself to just believe that you are more than enough, regardless of how many women you're having sex with outside the relationship, or the volume of women. Because I know a lot of guys, like, even when they get into relationships, they still are like, you know what, like, I need other women to still feel like I'm the man, to feel confident at work. And that's just a core wound that can be healed. And so I want you to dig into that a little bit and understand, like, what are some of the underlying programs you're running that make you feel like you need that to be enough? Because there's all kinds of interesting dynamics you can create in your romantic relationship. It doesn't even need to be strictly monogamous, but what you do have to do is get to this place where you don't need other women to be more than enough. And so have an open communication dialogue with your girlfriend or wife. Let her know, what is your vision for a relationship? What do you want? What are your unmet needs? You need to stop suppressing what you truly desire, and it needs to come up and out and be expressed in a relationship. Otherwise, you're gonna go seek it outside the relationship. So be forthright in what you actually want. And in the household, you just have to step up as that leader of the family, right? Don't put your wife in a situation all the time where she feels like she has to control everything or be the, dominant disciplinary figure, especially with your kids. Take on that role yourself. Allow her to take a back seat, to surrender, right? It's all about stepping into your masculine, your integrated masculine, so she can surrender into her feminine. And when she does so, she's of course going to create more sexual friction between you and her, because she's gonna feel safe, she's gonna feel relaxed. And when she is, she's gonna be ready for, some of that. All right, so this is a whole rabbit hole I could go down, but I wanted to make this video just for any guy who's gone through this before, who's cheated, or is thinking about cheating, or is feeling or picking up any of the vibes that I've been putting out in this video. And I hope that it is useful to you. If it is, yeah, great. Let me know in the comments below, and you guys can always hit me up. I'm very easy to access, email, Instagram, all the things. This is your boy Brandon, AKA the High White Priest, and I'll catch you in the next video.